Hey everyone, it's Shams at Mascara and I'm going to be taking you through a quick nail prep procedure using our portable mini e-file and two new exciting products. These are our cuticle removers, which is part of our cuticle oil treatment range. We have our Goodbye Express remover and we have our Goodbye Cuticle Remover. So with the Goodbye Express, you're going to get instantaneous results. So it's a faster removal process, and also with weekly use, you're going to see good results with people who may have dry cuticles that are a little bit of a problem. The Goodbye Cuticles is part of a traditional cuticle remover range. It's a slower working product, it's a thicker viscosity, but it also does a pretty good job when it comes to removing cuticles. Now, when we do usually the nail prep procedures, we know that a lot of people preach that you shouldn't use cuticle removers because it causes lifting. So this is what makes this product unique. These are part of a newer formulation. They gotta be washed off, so you have to wash them off once you've done your cuticle work, but I promise you it won't cause any lifting because we've tried and tested it and it really does make a big difference to your nail prep procedure. So it moisturizes the cuticle area, it softens the cuticle to help you remove it easily, and it also removes any dead skin that could be sitting on the nail plate. That's usually your cause of lifting. So it's a good add-in to your nail treatment, or I should say your prep procedure. And also sometimes we have those customers who have a little bit of really difficult cuticles to work with, and it can be tough if you don't have something to aid the process. So I would say this is a fantastic add-in into your preparation procedure, as well as something that you could recommend to a customer for use. So stay tuned and let's show you how to do your prep using the Express Cuticle Remover for this video. And we hope you enjoy it, and this gives you lots of joy when it comes to prepping cuticles for your customers. So on my bare hand, yes guys, my hand is bare, but it soon won't be bare. I'm going to be showing you how to prep. Well, I now said in the beginning of the video I'm going to show you the Express remover, but we might as well show you both. So with traditional nail prep, it always starts with the process of pushing back cuticles. I'm sure we all know this one. So we'll push back the cuticles, remove the shine, and shape our nail, and then you're ready or good to go for whatever process you're going to start next, whether it be the artificial nail systems like the acrylics and gels, or tip application or form application. It's pretty standard preparation procedures that takes place. But now sometimes we have those customers who come in and the cuticle area can be hard to work with, and if you are going to be using nothing to prep that cuticle area, it can lengthen the procedure of the prep time, and also you could end up tearing the customer's cuticles, excuse me, getting all tongue-tied again, and we don't really want that to happen. So with a product like this, it's just going to help the process move along swiftly. So with Express Remover, this is just going to give me a very quick on the spot application. So you would use your dropper that is part of your bottle, and you're basically just going to apply it to that cuticle area. So a little tip is try not to let your droppers touch the customer's skin, because I guess that's the point of the dropper. And there's no need to actually massage this in. You can usually just leave it to work on that cuticle area. So this is an Express remover, and I'm using a metal cuticle pusher to do my work. You can use the wooden sticks, but I am not a fan of the wooden sticks. I think every nail tech needs to invest in a good cuticle pusher, and this rainbow pusher is available from Maskscara. It's got a nice sharp end as well, which you can use to clean up that nail surface, but we're going to use it for our pushback of the cuticles. And once that Express remover is on, immediately I can start pushing back my cuticles, and immediately I can feel my cuticle is super soft. It's amazing actually. And I can just push back my cuticles to where I need them to be, and I can even feel under my cuticle pusher how it's lifting all the dead skin off my nail plate. So gently going to work from side to side, all the way into the side walls and around that cuticle area, and just lightly push back my cuticles. And you can then use a lint-free wipe. Let me just grab my lint-free wipes on the side and just clean up the excess cuticle remover. So I'm just going to show you how beautifully that product has worked. It's like lifted all that cuticle with effortless results. So just one point that you've got to remember: when you're using these cuticle removers, once we've done this step, which is the pushback part, you are going to wash your customers' hands immediately. So just send them to wash their hands, and once they've done that, they sit down at your desk and you can carry on with your procedure. But just look at that, that's amazing. It's like super soft and pushed back, and I'm ready to move on to the next step. But my next step is going to be trying out the Goodbye Cuticle, which is the more traditional of the two. So I'm just going to get a little bit in my dropper and I'm going to put that onto my cuticle area. So with this one, this forms part of, let's say it would be something that I would enjoy using, and with the usual Goodbye remover, you can actually use your thumb and gently just rub in your cuticle remover and allow it to settle and work in. If you're doing a manicure, you can actually soak the hands in warm water with the product on the nail, and this will also soften up the cuticles and give you good time to work with the area and sort of clean that area up really nicely. So this one is a slower working one, and this one is good for if you're doing manicures or if you're doing pedicures. So you know, sometimes you need to save time between steps, so this is good to apply and then you foot filing on the next foot, or you're busy massaging on the one hand. So this is a good product for manis and pedis, and it does do an amazing job as well. But when you're doing a prep procedure, I'm definitely going to say the Express Cuticle is the one to go with. So this is a great product. Just remember, with both of them, once you have done your application procedure and your prep work, you have to wash your hands to remove the product, because we don't want any of the active ingredients to cause irritation if you leave it on the skin too long. So I'm going to let this one sit for 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back and give it a good prep. Right, and we're back. So same procedure, we are going to be using our cuticle pusher and gently starting from one side, I'm going to push my cuticles back from side to side, gently all around. So as you can see, I'm using small pushback motions, so don't force the cuticle back. You want to work in sort of like short pushback motions, so that way we don't have any discomfort happening and the customer won't feel as if she's going to have her entire skeleton pulled out at the end of a finger. So gently work with it, and again you can turn your pusher to the pointed side and lightly just scrape around the edge to remove any dead skin cells that could be sitting on the nail plate. And as you can see, look at that. So that's amazing. I really am impressed with this product, and it is definitely going to be a must with my prep steps from now onwards. Right, so once you're done with this step, we're going to wash hands and then off we go to the next step. Right, so I have washed my hand, removed all the excess of my cuticle remover, and now we are going to do our little prep steps. So I'm using my Russian pointed bit in my little portable e-file, my rose gold e-file. I love these files for preparation, and we are going to start by prepping out on the cuticle area. So keep your drill bit nice and flat, and we are gently going to go from side to side. and you will see that it just easily, because of that cuticle remover, you have softened so much of that skin that could be causing you any problems. You don't even need to use much pressure with your e-file. So I'm going into my corner and working around my cuticle area with my pointed e-file. And I never ever use my e-file on that sort of pointed angle, because you will definitely hurt your finger with the point. So just make sure you always keep it sort of flat on your nail and just gently work around that cuticle area. Right, so once you're happy with what your cuticle area looks like, which should be nice and clean and prepped out, you can then move on to the next step. So we're going to give this a dust and move on to our next step. Right, next step, guys. So often you would be left with little bits of skin that have broken away. Now, I know this is where things get a little bit controversial. So there are lots of manicures out there where we can do full cuticle remover. So that means you are actually going to take a cuticle nipper and you're going to cut away all the skin sitting on the side. Now, usually that would be cutting away live skin. And yes, there's a lot of industry debate about whether this is the correct technique to use, or whether we are actually causing overgrowth of cuticle because we're cutting away live skin. So I guess there's mixed feelings, but from my side and what I know about anatomy of the skin and of the nail, I'm not going to advocate cutting live skin away from a cuticle. So we have cuticle removers that effectively push away product, or I should say push away cuticle dead skins. A lot of the time the cutting of the cuticle is chasing an aesthetic purpose. It does look beautiful, but what are the long-term effects of cutting live skin away and having gel product placed right against the skin, when we are actually told by manufacturers not to have product touch the skin because of overexposure? So yes, that's just a feeling that I will share with you about doing the very sort of heavy Russian techniques, which we call Russian manicures, which is cutting away all the live skin. But if you are somebody that loves that look, then I would say definitely do training in that technique to know exactly what you're doing. Do not just do it. Okay, so I have a little bit of cuticle that needs to be trimmed away. So usually you can see it straight away. It's just the little bits of skin on the sides of the nail that you need to trim away. So let's just get our camera in focus, and I've just steadied my hand a little bit so that we don't cut our whole finger off. And we are going to use our cuticle nipper and just gently trim away. I'm only trimming away the little bits of skin that is sort of, let's say, standing upright and in my way, and that's all we would trim away for a basic preparation on the cuticle area. Now we're going to move on to the next step, and that is to smooth that cuticle area out with our ball bit for our cuticle prep. Right, so we have changed our little bit. So here we have the ball bit in place, and we're just going to smooth out that area around the cuticle. So just gently going around that skin area. I'm just smoothing out the area that I've prepped. You can even go along the sides where you have any skin buildup and just gently file it out with this ball bit, so it is a nifty little bit to work with. And that's it, and we're ready for our next step. Right, so our nail and our cuticle area is beautifully prepped out and ready for our next step, and that would be to prep the surface of your nail. So there's no need to actually do any aggressive filing. You can use, let's just get rid of our lint-free wipe. You can use your mascara buffer, the 100-180 buffer, and I'm using the 100 side of my buffer. It's a sponge board, so it's pretty safe to use, and we're literally just going to buff the top of the nail. And I like to think of working on the surface of the nail plate as almost like exfoliating the nail. So no need to etch the nail and file it aggressively and rough up the surface, because we're going to be using our protein bond and our dehydrate, and all those wonderful products is going to help our gels stick to the nail. So the old days of filing and etching are over, ladies. We just need to do very light work on our nails. Just make sure that we prep nice and clean to give us an effective nail surface for bonding, but no need to be aggressive with our filing on the nail. The last step would be to use your file and just gently go around and neaten up your free edge. If you are going to be doing your gel polish straight onto the natural nail, you would make sure that you are going to be painting, or should say filing that shape perfectly so that you're ready for paint. But if you are going to be doing tip application, you would definitely then just shorten out your nail and make sure you're happy with the shape for your tip application or for fitting your form. So give it a good dust, and our next step would be to apply your dehydrate, and you would apply your protein bond. If you were doing these two steps, you would immediately follow with your gel polish application. If you were doing your artificial nail systems like your infinity gels or acrylics, you would do your dehydrate, fit your form or put your tip on, and then make sure that your protein bond is the very last step before product is applied onto the nail. So you don't want to get any dust or any little particles onto your protein bond. You want to have a nice clean surface for 100% bonding. So I hope that you enjoyed this prep video, mainly focusing on the cuticle work. We're using our Maskscara Express Cuticle Remover range, and it does make life easier, and it does give you a fantastic result, and it makes your preparation so much more stress-free when it comes to cuticles. So we hope you enjoy and add it into your prep steps. You won't be sorry.